Hello, good day to all. This is Kelvin here. Welcome to this week product featured video where I'll touch on share basket analysis, and the sector or the basket I will actually cover will be the oil and gas. So before we start, let's take a look at the disclaimer slides first. Okay, so I'll be using CMC Next Gen trading platform to illustrate an example on the share baskets analysis. Alright, so before we actually jump into the individual technical analysis configuration on the oil and gas basket, I will actually need to find out how the oil and gas basket performed in the last few months. Alright, so okay, what I'm gonna do is that I'll call up this share baskets watch list. So in our search all the way here, yeah, this is the oil and gas baskets over here. So before I do the analysis, if you could see this three dot here, if you left click on it, it will actually tell you the product overview as well as the news that are related to this oil and gas baskets. Okay, so we can actually explore much further in this what I call it, a detailed product overview on this oil and gas. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to do a kind of a relative strength analysis of the oil and gas, plot it against the major benchmark indices. So the benchmark indices that I want to compare will be the S&P 500 as well as the Nasdaq 100. Okay, so I left click it and I put it over to here. All right. So the one that is in orange will be the S&P. In red will be the oil and gas baskets or the oil and gas sector, and also the blue line will be the US Nasdaq 100. So as you all know that in my introductory video on this share basket, this oil and gas basket actually comprises several key stocks that are related to the oil and gas industry. All right. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to now show you all the year-to-date performance first of this three instrument. Okay. So let me go on here. Okay, so start from the 2nd of June. So as you all could see that year-to-date performance, the one that is performing the best definitely will be the Nasdaq 100. This is the S&P 500. You know that oil and gas has been really been underperformed since the start of this year, and right now it's actually trying to do a kind of a relative strength catch up against the Nasdaq 100 as well as the S&P 500. So how about the 6 months performance? All right, so let's start from 1st July or end of July, pardon me. Okay, sorry, 1st July, yeah. Okay, the second half performance, 2nd of July. So as you could see over here is that the previously the outperformance gap of the Nasdaq 100 and the S&P 500 has started to narrow as we see this kind of a significant or stellar catch up by these oil and gas baskets. How about 3 months to date? September. Okay. Okay, so very surprisingly or interestingly, 3 months to date performance, the oil and gas sector or the oil and gas baskets has performed relatively remarkably outperformance against the S&P and as well as the Nasdaq 100. So fundamentally, what causes this outperformance? So as you all know that number one will be the optimism of this fiscal stimulus as well as COVID-19 vaccine optimism as well, as we start to see a positive news flow from these two aspects. So it tends to actually drive up value and cyclical oriented team plays, which oil and gas belongs to them, to actually surpass the prior performance of Nasdaq 100 as well as the S&P 500. So definitely, right, going forward, we are talking about from a 1 to 3 months perspective. It's definitely be beneficial to us to have a bullish bias on the oil and gas basket or oil and gas stocks, but because potentially we could see further outperformance of the oil and gas against the S&P 500 as well as the Nasdaq 100. All right, so now let's do a simple technical analysis on the oil and gas basket. All right, so what I'm going to do is I will actually use the daily chart to illustrate. So first step I could see over here is that I tend to spot for price action or chart pattern on the oil and gas chart, the basket chart. So we could see that over here is that very significantly we start to see a very nice rounding bottom, first bottom, second bottom. So this is what I call a double bottom formation after a significant decline since the start of this year. All right, so the neckline of this double bottom, okay, let me draw the key resistance, will be at this height. All right, okay, let me highlight it in red. Okay, at this 7,480 mark. Okay, 7,480 mark. So going forward, right, in this 1 to 3 months perspective, what we expect over here is that this trend here, this upward move since the low of 29th of October has been trading in a series of higher low, okay, higher low and higher highs, and the momentum of this up move is relatively still positive, as illustrated by this indicator called the RSI. All right, so in this RSI indicator over here is that it's still hovering above the 50 level but hasn't go above the overbought zone yet. So what is telling us that over here is that this upside momentum hasn't been overstretched, and it could still support further price action potentially in the oil and gas basket from here. All right, so the key support level to actually maintain this trajectory push up will be this last higher low, which actually confluence with the former swing high area of 18th of November. So what is this key support level? All right, let me draw this line to you able to see. Okay, let me put it thicker. Okay, so it's at 5,936. So as long as 5,936 holds, potentially we could see further upside to test this key neckline resistance of this major double bottom that is still in progress of forming at 7,480. So if you start to see a break above 7,480, where does it goes? So the next level to actually pay attention to after 7,480 will definitely be this former range resistance of 1st of July 2019 to 6th of January 2020 over here. So you could see that over here there's this what I call it double top, a kind of a double top formation before this significant decline that took shape at the start of this year. So what is this resistance? Okay, let me draw a horizontal line for you. Okay, okay, it's at 9,887. All right, so if you could do a Fibo extension to see there's any confluence of this 9,884 graphical resistance level. All right, okay, so you could see that it actually potential confluence at this 1.382 level, which is at slightly below at 9,614. So given the Fibo extension that is confluencing 1.382 at this 9,887 level, so definitely it's a significant resistance level to watch after a break above of this neckline resistance of this major double bottom that is still forming at 9,480. So overall for the oil and gas basket, yes, the 1 to 3 months uptrend or up move is still potentially intact as long as this key support level holds. Okay, let me delete this. Okay, at 5,936 level. First step for it to go up towards 7,480. A break above 7,480 should take us higher towards 9,887 slash 9,600, which is the 1.382 Fibo extension level in the 1 to 3 months perspective. But nevertheless, if we start to see a daily close below 5,9360, definitely this bullish bias will be invalidated to see another messy sideways move downwards to actually retest this gap support over here in first step at this okay, let me see, at this 4,845 level, maximum towards this low at 4,290 level. All right, so with that, thank you for your time, and I'll end today's video on our share basket analysis, and I see you all next in my next video.